Hi, welcome to Mojato on Art. As promised, we're back with our second half of the Indian Contemporary Art Special, and as usual, we see what's up in the world of Mojato. All this and more on Mojato on Art. We start the episode by travelling to Bengaluru, where we met sculptor Ravinder Reddy, and he spoke to us about why he just loves women and why it's been 10 years since we saw any of his works on display. Let's find out.
When I'm growing as a child, we never had sisters at home, so always I was fascinated with a female form. As I was studying in the college, I was looking at my colleagues, my fellow students, and observing them, how they are different than man and what is their nature of behavior. Slowly I started getting more and more interested about female form.
Ravinder Reddy has always been vocal about his love for the female form. His latest solo exhibition, Heads and Bodies, Icons and Idols, comes after a gap of 10 years. The exhibition brings together 26 of his sculptures created over 3 decades of painstaking observation and complete immersion into his subject, women.
At the age of 20 till now, every time I discover newness in the form. And as I'm growing, so my looking at female form started changing. As a young girl, as a young woman, and later on as a mother, as a old woman or middle-aged woman, everybody had a different role and different perception.
The women in Reddy's sculptures have been represented in all their glory. Full-bodied, curvaceous, love-handled and real. The sculptures exude a sexuality sans objectification. The gaze is turned outward, towards the viewer, almost defiant of its surrounding.
From great olden days, from even if Indian context, from Mohenjo-daro or Harappa, there is no distinction between male form or female form. They are equally represented in all aspects. Even if we see world culture from Mesopotamia to all the places, female form was always there and male form also was there. But only over a period of time in this context, things have changed. They are looking at female form only as a sexual object or as something uneasy to portray or something. Because these are all things we cultivated in recent years, or we have imbibed those values from the European, especially colonial period.
The pieces are simple yet arresting, be it his 12-foot Devi, a permanent installation at RMZ Eco World, or his smaller terracotta heads. Reddy believes his pieces can communicate volumes with minimum means. His choice of materials too represent this.
What I noticed is many people were admiring only material, not the sculpture or the concept behind. So that's why I chose the fiberglass, which was new material at that time in the art schools, not widely practiced. Very couple of artists did and they left it behind because people thought the material has no aesthetic sense. It's an industrial product. People were looking for aesthetic sense of stone or wood or bronze. So I wanted the non-aesthetic material to transform into an aesthetic object by sheer work of art.
Making a statement is the last thing on Reddy's mind. His work is a product of a purely artistic and self-indulgent pursuit.
I am not an artist which reacts every day, day-to-day political things. I like to represent or do something which goes beyond politics, day-to-day politics, which these are all I feel transient emotions. And I like to represent art which is like timeless or ageless.
Artist Achia Anzi brings Jorge Luis Borges' seminal work, a short story titled The Aleph, to life through his installation. We find out how he interpreted Borges' work and his process.
They cannot do it. Tear down my house. I need the house to finish the poem. Yes, the one place on earth where all places are, seen from every angle, clear and standing, without any confusion or blending.
I saw a sphere of almost unbearable brilliance. At first, I thought it was revolving, since I distinctly saw it from every angle of the universe.
Jorge Luis Borges is one of the 20th century's most famous writers. The author from Argentina pioneered the genre of magical realism. This year is the 30th anniversary of Borges' death.
When you read Borges' short stories, you found things that happened in maybe in the times of the Roman Empire that are happening right now in Delhi, and that they both are the same thing at the same time.
And so, the Instituto Cervantes of New Delhi turned to artist Achia Anzi and asked him to bring Borges' short story, called The Aleph, into the 21st century.
Ocular adjustment will be necessary. What? It's mine. I discovered it when I was a child, all by myself.
The biggest challenge was how do you speak about the Aleph. Moreover, the Aleph is something which is like very mystical, absurd, and so the question was how to do that with the tools that we have. As visual artist, I'm mainly doing installations, so I had to think about it.
Anzi's interpretation led him to fill the space with empty billboards, flickering into view in dark rooms, and mirrors pointed at one another in infinite dialogue. But this was not a conventional gallery exhibition, as Anzi also directed a play that moved through the exhibition, raising yet another way to interact with Borges' literature.
Before he could say no. It amazed me not to have suspected.
We decided to collaborate on how we could bring the story to life by using the different spaces. It's a very large installation. There are 6 separate spaces, and each space we plan to define with what happens in the story between 2 characters.
The result? A show as surreal and affecting as Borges' literature itself. Some say the Aleph exists today on the internet or on television.
I strongly believe in Alephs in these times that we live more than ever.
I saw the teeming seas. I saw daybreak and nightfall.
Aleph is everywhere. It's a question to look into it and to find it.
I saw the multitudes of America. I saw a silvery cobweb in the center of a black pyramid.
The Aleph is actually to see the whole universe. That's the whole point. There's nothing beyond that.
I saw bunches of grapes, snow, tobacco, loads of metal, steam. I saw convex equatorial deserts in each one's grains of sand. I saw a woman in Inverness whom I shall never forget.